Namaste. I'm Jyoti. I'm the founder director of Ajanta Vihara Institute of Spiritual Sciences. Today in this video, I want to share my insights on various sicknesses, diseases, health conditions, physical or emotional that people go through. And today's focus is about workplace stress, the anxieties that you experience in your workplace, the trauma, the emotions that you experience in your workplace, what happens as a result of not allowing yourself to process these emotions, what happens when you do not allow yourself to feel this, when you suppress your emotional needs, when you suppress your emotional expression, what happens. Because my experience as a hypnotherapist has given me very in-depth insights into psychosomatic symptoms that start showing in the body of a person, and trust me, it can sometimes go very chronic. I have treated people for IBS, I have treated people for colitis, I've treated people for various stomach issues, I've treated people for severe splitting headache, and even a lot of anger. Many times I find that relationships are falling apart in the personal space, especially romantic relationships, are falling apart, are not able to hold together. People are not able to come together and hold and heal each other in a relationship because there's already so much they're going through at their workplace. Work conditions, when I say work condition, I don't only mean the physical work condition, I mean the emotional work condition, what kind of culture the company has. And companies have been very proactive, companies have been doing a lot of things to ensure that their employees have a happy work culture, but my experience working with professionals tell me that there is still so much that needs to be done, especially in the area of, emotional well-being, in the area of your happy culture, being inclusive of the emotional needs, and, practices which are sustainable. Because, doing activities is good, and asking your employees to enroll into various activities good, doing off sites where your employees get to experience a lot of emotional release through meditation or through yoga or various other kind of things that challenge their belief system is really good. And I think one must include these kind of things. But then what happens is, the moment employees come out of these offsites, which of course are so great because of the place, the ambience of the place and all, but when the employees come back to the workspace, right, that's when the challenge comes, because again the same kind of emotions are back. And that is why it is very important for us to look beyond just activities and look beyond something that is an engagement base at a physical level. We also need to look at activities, engagements, dialogues, conversations, group engagement, a community building, which can really help the employee feel safe. When I say safe, I mean emotionally safe. And we need to understand that irrespective of what backgrounds, irrespective of what kind of cultural background, or what kind of community we come from, what kind of educational background, family background we come from, we all subconsciously are tuning into one very strong collective of consciousness, and that is the survival consciousness. Now, as I said, I'm a hypnotherapist. I work with subconscious mind of people, which is about 96% of who we are, our personalities, our choices, even what education we want to do, what courses we want to do, what job we pick up, what kind of partners, our behavior. Everything comes from this subconscious mind, and this subconscious mind has three different windows. One is our inner child window, second is our current self, which is all about what kind of conditioning, belief systems, narratives we have surrounded ourselves with, and third is our higher self. Now, the alignment of all these three are very important. My experience tells me that most of the time in workplace we focus on the physical consciousness and we focus on the intellectual consciousness. Little bit of emotional consciousness is now flowing in, but there is a lot of ignorance of spiritual consciousness. Of course, people can say, oh, but we make our employees do meditation, or we make our employees do yoga. That is not spiritual consciousness. That is still your physical consciousness, which you're aligning to open pathways to your spiritual consciousness. So it is very important to understand that when you build a community, when you establish a culture in workplace, and especially now in these challenging times, where you also have work from home or work from remote location, there is a lot of disruption in this community energy, this collective energy, which earlier would bring in a lot of release of your stress, because you're feeling something, you got other people in your team and you can talk to them, or you can just sit with a few people and discuss your problem or your challenges. Now there is a lot of disconnect because people are not even physically in one space due to these options. Although these options are really good, because these options also take away a lot of stress earlier which people used to feel due to travel to workplace and all, but it also comes with its own challenges. So if any organization is really looking at sustaining their employees, because that is the challenge, right? Employee retention is a huge challenge. And imagine companies are investing so much of money in trying to get an employee to come on board. Onboarding takes a lot of time, lot of investment, lot of efforts, and then to lose a client lose an employee within 6 months or a year or two is not a very good experience for the company. Also, of course, it puts a huge dent into the revenue, right? So how do we have a much better sustenance ratio in the company is something that is important to tap, and that's where I feel that if we were to tap on the subconscious engagement of your mind, even in your awakened state. So normally we believe that, and it is like this, but there is of course other layers. Subconscious mind is the one that's active when you're sleeping. In our sleep state, subconscious mind is active. In our awakened state, it's our conscious mind. So understand, our conscious mind is like the RAM, right, of your laptop. So whatever you are working on, whatever you're doing gets temporarily stored onto your RAM, but you need to move it, right? That's not your storing device. That's like just your landing and waiting device, right? It holds it till you decide to transfer it, but you need to transfer it, right? Because before you stop doing your work. And then you decide where you want to transfer. You want to put it on the cloud, you want to have it in C drive, D drive, you want to have in your external drive, whatever, depending on, how important that data is and whether you need it immediately or later on retrieval is required. Same way, when we are awake and we are functioning, during the daytime or whenever your functioning hours are, that is when this conscious mind, this RAM is active in you. But it needs to transfer all your data, and that's why when we sleep, all the data transfer happens. So if you're not getting great sleep, there's always going to be unprocessed data that has remained unfiltered, which means you will end up feeling very tired tired, exhausted, you will start to lose your motivation, you'll feel negative at workplace, you'll have a lot of lack of patience, you might be very temperamental, very annoyed all the time, you might start to snap, or if you are not able to express any of these emotions, you are suppressing your emotional expression, then it will start to show in your body in some way. So it could show as say thyroid, which means that the suppression is way too acute and deep in you. You are feeling not heard, not respected, not loved, and so thyroid starts happening. If you have high blood pressure, that means that you feel loss of control, and you feel completely being bullied by people, and you want to shout and scream and say, hey, I want my control back. So if you feel loss of control, blood pressure is going to happen. If you're all the time feeling headache or pressure in your head or exhaustion all around your senses, or you're having sinusitis, ear problem, jaw problem, teeth problem, ulcers in your mouth, then it's a clear sign that and if it has started, say for example, since the time you joined this new job or a project that you started handling, or your work hours shifted, then maybe it's to do with your professional space. And it all happens because somewhere you are not allowing yourself to emotionally express yourself. You're not allowing any kind of emotional communication, because your belief system says that you have been abandoned, or you have been moved out of the herd, you've been outcasted. Herd could be the team, herd could be your manager, herd could be your CEO, herd could be your HR head, anything. I mean, we need to figure that out. Now, same way, other health issues, whether it's stomach or it's body pain, or it's cramps in your calf muscles, or it's general change in your behavior, or dependency on any substance, or a need for any kind of an addictive engagement with various things, from your cigarettes to your other substance, to alcohol, to even sex, porn. So your unprocessed emotion, your unprocessed stress and anxiety, and the feeling of being traumatized, if not felt by you, if not dealt by you, if not processed by you, if not supported by you and your environment, is going to come out as a health condition, physical, emotional, or behavioral issues. How do we how do we avoid it, or how can we correct it? There are different kinds of engagement that you can encourage your employees to get into by focusing on the subconscious needs of a community. So how do you build it? First, any happy work culture in any organization needs to understand that a lot of our models which we are still practicing in or are being used by a lot of your HR heads, or anybody else who's responsible for employee well-being, their growth, their CPDs, their continuing professional development. They are looking into the models of training which I think were designed prior to COVID, and still cater to the psychological needs, emotional needs of people prior to the world that we witnessed when COVID happened. Post COVID, it'll help for us to understand that things have really changed, because the definition of workspace has changed. Definition of what makes us happy has changed. Our emotional needs have changed. Our emotional engagement with our environment has changed. Our intellectual needs has changed. So all level of consciousness in a human body and mind and energy field has gone through a change. So whether it's a physical consciousness, I mean, look at how you are seeing people looking for food that can help their body. People are trying to understand their body better. People are trying to look at means and ways of healing themselves beyond the mainstream medicine, so people are becoming curious about understanding as to what their bodies beyond what they knew maybe prior to pandemic. So a lot of different food, social media is full of so much, and when you look at it you can actually understand how lifestyle trends are changing, whether it's the kind of home people want to live into, or the medicines they want to consume, or the food they want to consume, or even the makeup or the clothing or the community they want to connect with. So physical consciousness has shifted or is shifting quite fast, and then there is emotional consciousness that has shifted. People's emotional needs have changed, people's understanding of who they are has changed, people's requirements from their emotional environment has changed. Same way intellectual consciousness is also going through a shift. How you think, people are trying to adapt means and ways where they can move away from the old narrative of life, old belief systems and conditionings of generations, within the family or the larger collective. And then spiritual consciousness, I think pandemic has done something very beautiful. It has made us ask, why everything that we thought would work for us didn't work for us. And that is when we started to question our own choices, judgment, our own belief system as to how superior we are, or how sorted we are, or how modern we are, or how equipped we are, and how we can depend on certain expertise for solution based on the confirmative studies. So I think all levels of consciousness are going through a shift, and that's beautiful because that is going to bring in eventually a certain kind of balance in this larger collective. Right now there is a lot of chaos that I see when I talk to professionals, all kind of professionals, whether they are the top leaders or they are middle managers. There is a very common thread which is currently holding us, and it's a very chaotic thread because we are in a transitional space. We're trying to hang on to, we're trying to find our anchors to know as to what's going to work. So many companies have lost their face, so many companies lost their name, so many companies lost their identity and do not even exist. And then there was these new players which started to emerge. So moving forward, the happy culture in the organization needs to tap into alignment of these four consciousness. How can you do it? Is it going to be like, because we are saying subconscious, so does it mean that we're going to engage each individual employee, separately, and that's a huge cost for an organization? Well, no, because when you look at model like for example, the kind of models that I have been able to design, it works on 3 steps. So you've got awareness and acceptance and allowance. So first, it's always about awareness, and then you give a certain kind of incubation time to your employees to accept, what has been brought to their awareness. But when the day you start your awareness building is the day when you actually start to experience a very healthy community building, where there is a lot of authenticity, there's a lot of resilience, and there's a lot of ownership, that sense of responsibility towards the community. You are not all the time caught up with this fear of abandonment, which unfortunately, most of the employees feel. After a point, they start to feel unsafe, and when a person feels unsafe, either the person is going to fight or freeze or fly, and most of the time people fly off, they leave the organization. But when you tap on these subconscious needs, when you tap on what is making them feel unsafe, then a healthy community building, a new community building, a new age community starts to emerge. So my experience, working with professionals and companies have really given me confidence that if we take, the way forward of subconscious, I think we can have a better sustenance of employees within the organizations, and we can have happy culture which is not just an engagement model for keeping employees in a positive space, but is a model which actually makes them responsible and ambassadors of this happiness. So the change is happening within, and because it's happening within, it's eternal, it's continuous, you see. So each person becomes an ambassador of that happiness, and when you own happiness, you of course don't want to leave any space, because when you own happiness, you're the source and you can bring in that change. So imagine you've got these change maker who are bringing in happiness as the change, because they are experiencing it within themselves. There is a permanent shift that's happening in their narrative, their belief systems, their conditioning of mind, which means there's an internal healing that's happening of their inner child, current self, which gives them more confidence to move forward towards the future. And the workplace does not remain anymore an unsafe space. And if you don't have anything unsafe, why would you like to leave it? Because it then starts feeling like home, like something you belong to, something you got a strong foundation in, something you're rooted in. And then you might not have an employee lasting till their retirement. I do hope that starts happening at some point, but you'll have longer retention. If you are an employee watching it, you will experience that for yourself. And if you are somebody who is worried about the culture, maybe the owner of the organization or a senior leader, or an HR person, then maybe it's time for you to understand that yes, you can have a longer sustenance for your employees. Just that now you need to look at new models. If you have any more questions or queries as to how we can do this, or how you can implement it in your organization, or if you feel that you would like to collaborate with us in bringing this new model into your work culture and letting your employees experience a very happy work culture in a very new, different way, where they own it up, they're more authentic, transparent work culture, very low in fear, then please do write in the comments and reach out to me. All the details are given in the caption, and we can always touch base. I hope this helps. Till next time, love and light.